Oh, it's hot. Okay. I'd like to talk about, or go into more detail about, actually, let me turn the fan off. This is really hot. I've been working outside since I got back from work, and I'm like, sweaty California heat is here, and it's ready to stay. Oh, it feels so nice. Let's talk about behaviors like we were going over before, and the laws of behaviors, why we get behavior, why do we do certain things and keep doing them when we know that they're bad, or why we do it and we know that they're good. So let's start off with the laws of behavior change. Actually, let's start off with why we do behaviors. So when you think about it, everything we do is defined for like pleasure or like that rush of happiness because we're trying to fit in with other people a lot of the time. And whether you know it or not, like, we are a social species and we are working to fit into the crowd. So we have these neurotransmitters or chemicals in our brains that say, yes, this is something I should be doing. And there's not like a huge no section in the brain other than in your insula, which is your disgust center, which does play a role in behavior. Tells you like, I shouldn't do that. That's going to make me sick. That's going to put me in danger. But we have so many different dopamine centers, which is the neurotransmitter that's in charge of behavior, with desirable behavior, reward, motivation. And there's so many different places in our brain that are affected by that. So likely, rather than saying, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do that, or like, when you're eating fast food, it's wrong. That like you feel a little grossed out. It should be like an every now and then thing, not an everyday thing. Or like eating, like binge eating, anything like that shouldn't be something that you do consistently. And I feel like the biggest proponent is the dopamine centers in the brain and how many there are compared to in our insula, where our disgust center is, that tells us we shouldn't do these things. So now that we know that behavior is a product of dopamine, we can talk about how that is, I don't want to say like it comes about, but like it comes about in multiple different ways. Like we can get serotonin and dopamine simply by exercising. You can get it from doing something like cleaning if you enjoy cleaning. And there's just all of these different habits that you can make that can become a happy habit that used to be like a gross one to you or make you feel uncomfortable. Or like me, I don't want to say I am agoraphobic because that like tells my self-concept that that's what I am. But I do tend to have fears of going into public and with people, mostly like hanging out with a group of people, which tonight's my graduation party. So that's going to be a testament to that. I think it'll be fun. And I'm going to tell myself it's fun because I'm trying to work on that dopamine rush. So there's laws behind behavioral change, and let's go over just a couple of them today. I feel like this can be brought into another video. So the first law, I'm not going to go in a specific order, is making something so invisible to yourself that you don't do it anymore. So when you are behaving in a way that you're repeating bad behaviors, your goal is to take away that cue that starts that behavior. It's kind of like the spark to the fire. And that fire is going to rampage if you don't take care of it in time. So let's say junk food. We talked about it the other day. You want to put it on either a higher shelf in the trash can. Don't go to the places where you normally buy junk food. Take a different route home if you drive by like McDonald's or by Taco Bell. And it's just about making that invisible to yourself because you're rather going to choose something else if you don't have the option of choosing that. So you can put fresh veggies. Well, this is kind of like going into the other behavior change law, which is making it obvious, but this is for good habits that you're trying to include. So you want to make those predominantly obvious and make the other ones just invisible. So putting fresh veggies at eye level, putting your condiments on the side of the door like a lot of people do because they're more likely to grab for that and then pull out their veggies that are in a drawer. It's different for everyone. So wherever you think like you put the healthiest things, I don't want to say healthy because fast food can be considered healthy too if it's eaten in moderation or is there to like replace some kind of nutrient that you're missing, like a lot of fat or salt, which is something that we crave in humanity. But definitely making your choices known to yourself. Like if I want to go for a run in the morning, I'm going to set out my clothes. And then I also stress, well, I'm not going to have enough time to get dressed afterwards for work. So then I'll set out my work clothes. I'll choose my outfits beforehand so that I can go for the run and take my dog. And then leaving enough time for myself, I set my alarm the night before 3 times a week to go for this run. And just being like feeling prepared, I think is a really big thing so that there's no mistaking what you're doing, when you're doing it, who you're doing it with, if you're doing it alone. Yeah. Hi, Cora. So the next thing is making it enticing. And I know it can seem weird to make like a healthy activity enticing, but it does like become that after a while. And you can get like a reward out of doing something that's healthy for yourself. Or you can pair it. Pairing is a really smart idea with another task that you already do all day. So that's like when you go to the bathroom, you always wash your hands. When you wake up in the morning, you always brush your teeth. So pairing something on top of what you're doing, but with something that like you really enjoy. Like I really enjoy doing like weightlifting, but it's not like weightlifting, it's weightlifting. So I needed to start doing more cardio because I had a heart transplant. So then I decided to start weightlifting and going on a run, but the weightlifting would come after so that it was like that reward for myself, or doing yoga or stretching. Yeah, it's kind of cool how fast the change happens. I haven't been running for that long, but I can thoroughly say that I enjoy it, and I think that I'm going to, you know what, I'm not going to say think because that is, it's makes it questionable, my future questionable. I will, in declarative tone, follow through with running, and I do like it. So yeah, and those are just a few of the different types of behavioral change that we're going to go over. Thanks. Bye.